Your Brain on Porn is one of the books that scientifically explores the impact of pornography on the brain. It reveals the neurological and psychological mechanisms that cause changes in the brain due to repeated exposure to pornographic content. Since the advent of the internet and the widespread availability of such material, concerns have risen about the addiction to pornography and its effects on mental, emotional, and physical health. This book is grounded in contemporary research in neuroscience and human behavior, offering a comprehensive view of how pornographic images and scenes affect the brain's reward system, and how neurological processes are altered through continuous exposure. The book highlights several main points: how the brain works, how pornography affects the brain by releasing the neurotransmitter dopamine and enhancing emotional responses, which ultimately leads to the formation of addictive patterns. Neurological changes. The book explains how pornography contributes to reshaping neural pathways and causing structural brain changes, affecting focus and decision-making. Psychological and social impact. It examines the psychological and social consequences of pornography addiction, including its impact on personal relationships and emotional life. Recovery methods. The book provides practical strategies for recovery and brain rehabilitation, emphasizing awareness and mental health care. Through this extended summary, we will cover the key topics presented by the author in a simple and engaging manner, adding a real-life story to illustrate the tangible effects of pornography and the lessons that can motivate readers to change and improve their quality of life. Part 1. The scientific foundations of pornography's effects on the brain. 1.1. Brain structure and the reward mechanism. The book begins with a simple explanation of the human brain structure and how the reward system operates. The author explains that the brain contains several regions that interact with external stimuli and control feelings of pleasure and happiness through the release of dopamine. Dopamine is a key chemical associated with feelings of desire and motivation. It's released in response to pleasurable experiences, whether it's eating delicious food or engaging in physical activity. However, pornography triggers an exaggerated response due to constant stimulation. The book emphasizes that repeated exposure to such stimuli reshapes neural circuits in the brain, making them more sensitive to these triggers. This causes the person to seek out more pornography to achieve the same level of pleasure. Thus, the behavior can shift from casual enjoyment to an addictive habit that becomes hard to break. 1.2. The effect of pornography on dopamine release. The author discusses the biological mechanism that makes pornography so potent in the brain. When consuming pornographic content, large amounts of dopamine are released into the brain's reward system, creating intense feelings of pleasure and satisfaction. Over time, this leads to what's known as dopamine desensitization, where neurons reduce their response to dopamine, requiring even more stimulation to achieve the same pleasure. This phenomenon eventually causes a decrease in the natural pleasure derived from everyday activities, contributing to lower overall happiness and increasing feelings of anxiety and depression. From here, The author explains how pornography rewires the brain in ways that make it difficult to return to a normal, healthy lifestyle. 1.3. Neurological changes and brain restructuring. Based on scientific studies cited in the book, repeated exposure to pornography leads to biological changes in brain structure. These changes affect the neural connections between certain areas of the brain, such as the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for behavior control and decision-making. Continued use of pornography makes the brain reliant on overly stimulated patterns, reducing the ability to perform other functions like concentration and future planning. The book compares this process to drug addiction, as both pornography and narcotics share similar mechanisms in altering brain circuits. However, it also highlights the brain's high adaptability, known as neuroplasticity, meaning it's possible to retrain the brain with awareness and effort to respond to new, healthier stimuli. 1.4. Pornography and psychological disorders. It's no secret that porn addiction is strongly linked to increased rates of anxiety and depression. The book reveals a series of studies connecting excessive porn use to rising negative emotions, such as loneliness, social isolation, and low self-esteem. According to the author, this relationship is not coincidental, but rather a direct consequence of pornography's effect on the brain's emotional regulation abilities. The book stresses the importance of assessing the psychological state of individuals suffering from addiction, offering innovative methods for identifying root causes and providing appropriate psychological therapy. This chapter serves as a call to deeply consider the mental health implications of constant exposure to pornographic material. Part 2. Social and emotional dimensions of pornography. 2.1. The impact on personal and emotional relationships. A significant portion of the book discusses how pornography affects personal relationships, whether between spouses or family members. Because of its profound effect on the brain's reward system, pornography alters an individual's expectations toward intimacy. The immediate gratification from viewing pornographic content transfers to real-life relationships, often leading to difficulty achieving the same emotional and physical satisfaction with a partner. The book emphasizes that this phenomenon can result in emotional withdrawal and distancing from genuine human connections, posing a major challenge in an era where human relationships are already complex. The author shows how addiction can evolve into communication disorders, leading to marital conflict and the collapse of social ties. 2.2. The effect on sexual identity and self-perception. One of the book's core points is how pornography affects sexual identity and self-image. Pornographic scenes often create unrealistic expectations about sex and intimacy, leading individuals to compare their real-life experiences to what they see on screen. This can result in psychological frustration and disappointment when such unrealistic standards aren't met in real life. The author notes that one's mental image of their body and their partner's body is heavily influenced by consumed content, fostering a culture of self-doubt and dissatisfaction. This influence extends to broader social relationships and personal confidence. 2.3. Shifting standards of beauty and idealism. The book supports the idea that pornography alters individuals' standards of beauty and perfection. Regular consumption of pornographic content leads to the adoption of superficial and exaggerated standards of attractiveness, encouraging people to make quick and unrealistic judgments about others. In this context, the book calls for public awareness of the dangers of these false standards and urges readers to adopt a more realistic and inclusive view of life and human relationships. Part 3. The physical and health consequences of pornography. 3.1. Effects on mental and cognitive functions. The book discusses the direct impact of pornography on the brain's cognitive functions, highlighting that frequent exposure can impair concentration and long-term memory. The author details how these changes affect daily performance and the ability to learn and solve problems. It also explores how repeated use of pornography affects the brain's neuronal communication, reducing its flexibility and adaptability in different situations. This weakens critical thinking and analytical skills, negatively impacting academic and professional life. 3.2. Sleep disorders and mental fatigue. Studies referenced in the book show a strong link between porn addiction and sleep disorders. People who overindulge in pornography often suffer from insomnia and mental alertness at inappropriate times, leading to chronic fatigue and exhaustion. When the brain doesn't get enough rest, it worsens anxiety and depression. These disorders affect daily functioning, including concentration, stress management, and handling complex situations. The book emphasizes the need to adopt strategies that improve sleep quality as a first step toward recovery. 3.3. Effects on sexual and physical health. A crucial section of the book addresses how pornography affects sexual health. It explains that continuous exposure to pornographic material can lead to sexual dysfunctions such as erectile dysfunction and low libido, known as porn-induced sexual dysfunction. This addiction can also be a leading cause of broken intimacy and communication gaps between partners. Additionally, the book discusses how the psychological toll of porn addiction affects overall physical health by influencing appetite and energy levels, leading to poor nutrition and potentially serious long-term health issues. Part 4. The psychological and social effects of pornography. 4.1. The impact of pornography on mental health. The book delves into the psychological effects of pornography, explaining that addiction to it can lead to several mental disorders, including depression and anxiety, due to the loss of the ability to derive natural satisfaction from everyday activities. Social isolation, as individuals prefer to engage in a virtual world rather than real-life relationships, leading to feelings of loneliness. Low self-esteem, resulting from constant comparisons with unrealistic standards portrayed in pornographic content. The book notes that these psychological disorders do not emerge suddenly, but rather develop gradually due to ongoing exposure to pornography, making them more complex and challenging to treat. 4.2. Psychological and social pressures in the modern age. The author also points out that the issue of pornography exists within a broader context of psychological and social challenges related to the impact of technology and media on daily life. In an age of speed and digital saturation, pornography has become an integral part of the digital ecosystem, making it difficult to distinguish between reality and virtuality. The book also discusses how social and economic pressures contribute to individuals seeking emotional escape in the world of digital overstimulation. Understanding these pressures and their connection to porn addiction is seen as a crucial step toward developing comprehensive solutions to address the phenomenon. 4.3. The effect of pornography on family relationships. The family is one of the most important social institutions shaping an individual's personality and behavior. The book discusses how pornography affects family relationships, highlighting how it leads to the breakdown of family bonds and weakens communication between family members. When a family member is excessively drawn to pornography, they become emotionally detached, unable to provide emotional support or set a good example. The book highlights how children and adolescents exposed to such content online suffer from distorted perceptions of life and relationships, negatively affecting their emotional and psychological development. Parents are urged to monitor their children's use of technology and offer proper guidance. Part 5. Recovery Strategies and Rebuilding the Brain. 5.1. The concept of recovery and neural healing. Despite the seemingly permanent effects of pornography on the brain, the book emphasizes the brain's high capacity for flexibility, known as neuroplasticity, the ability to rewire neural connections and restore balance to brain functions. This concept forms the foundation of the recovery strategies discussed in the book. As individuals, over time, and with the right efforts, can regain their mental and physical health. The book stresses the importance of understanding how pornography affects the brain as the first step toward recovery. This awareness can initiate change and motivate individuals to take practical steps toward healing. Recovery requires time and effort, in addition to social and psychological support through individual or group therapy. 5.2. Practical Steps for Addiction Recovery. The book offers a detailed plan composed of several practical steps for recovering from porn addiction, including acknowledging the problem. The first step is recognizing the issue and admitting difficulty in controlling porn consumption. Identifying triggers, encouraging individuals to recognize the emotional, psychological, or environmental factors that lead to watching porn. Restructuring daily habits, organizing daily routines, and incorporating alternative, productive activities to reduce reliance on digital stimulation. Seeking support from friends, family, or professional therapy to help overcome negative emotions and social isolation. Practicing meditation and exercise. Both help improve mental health and enhance resilience against stress. Tracking progress and journaling to measure recovery and identify areas that need improvement. The book explains that adopting a healthy, balanced lifestyle focused on physical and mental activities is fundamental to brain rehabilitation and restoring its normal functions. It emphasizes the need for patience and commitment, as recovery is not immediate. 5.3. The role of psychotherapy and social support. Psychological and social support are considered critical elements in overcoming pornography addiction. The book shows that participation in psychotherapy, whether individual or group sessions, helps build an emotional safety net. It offers a safe environment to express feelings and eliminate negative thoughts surrounding the addictive behavior. It also mentions that joining support groups and connecting with others facing similar struggles can create a sense of belonging and mutual encouragement. This support allows individuals to strengthen their social ties and overcome feelings of loneliness, significantly improving their ability to cope with psychological pressure. Part 6. A real story and a lesson in recovery. 6.1. The story. A young man's journey to healing. In a quiet neighborhood lived a young man named Sammy in his early 20s. Sammy was ambitious and full of life, but he had been exposed to online pornography from a young age. Over time, this exposure turned into a daily habit, consuming much of his life and negatively affecting his studies and relationships. Sammy's life began to deteriorate. Gradually, he lost interest in activities he once enjoyed, and his academic performance dropped noticeably. He struggled to build healthy emotional relationships due to unrealistic expectations shaped by pornographic content. Eventually, he felt isolated and powerless to face real-life challenges. 6.2. Turning point and acknowledging the problem. Sammy's life took a dramatic turn when he faced a major conflict with his family, losing their trust due to recurring behavior issues related to his addiction. At a critical moment, Sammy decided to seek professional help and started taking small steps toward rebuilding his life. He joined a support group for those addicted to pornography and began attending therapy sessions. His first steps involved acknowledging the problem and identifying the triggers behind his behavior. Over time, Sammy realized that pornography wasn't just a source of temporary pleasure. It was the root cause of his lost self-confidence and descent into isolation and depression. This realization marked a major turning point in his life, and he gradually embarked on a path to recovery. 6.3. The recovery journey and personal transformation. Sammy adopted a comprehensive recovery plan that included therapy, meditation, exercise, and lifestyle changes. He created a daily schedule filled with productive and social activities and began journaling his recovery journey. Each day posed a new challenge, but he overcame his struggles with the help of consistent support from family, friends, and his therapy group. During his recovery, Sammy noticed gradual improvement in focus, responsibility, and his ability to manage psychological stress. He also embraced a personal philosophy centered on self-awareness and ongoing personal development. After years of persistence, Sammy regained his self-confidence and became a living example of willpower and the human ability to overcome deep wounds. 6.4. Lessons learned from Sammy's story. Several valuable lessons can be drawn from Sammy's journey. First, acknowledging the problem is crucial. Facing reality with courage and seeking help is the first step toward healing. Second, change starts from within. True transformation requires internal work and changing personal beliefs and behaviors. Third, family and community support is vital. A strong support network enhances one's ability to cope and recover. Fourth, patience and commitment are essential. Recovery is a long journey, requiring ongoing effort and perseverance. Fifth, rebuilding self-confidence begins with redefining personal identity. By reassessing oneself and setting meaningful goals, individuals increase their chances of overcoming addiction. Part 7. Scientific research supporting the content. 7.1. Neuroscience research on pornography effects. The book draws from numerous scientific studies in neuroscience to explain how repeated exposure to pornography reshapes the brain. These studies show significant changes in key brain areas, such as the prefrontal cortex and midbrain, affecting decision-making and behavioral regulation. Some research indicates that individuals addicted to pornography exhibit different patterns of brain activity compared to non-addicted individuals, suggesting that the brain becomes accustomed to high stimuli and loses its ability to enjoy simple pleasures. These studies stress the need for new treatment approaches that target these neurological changes. 7.2. Research on dopamine and its alterations. The book focuses on the role of dopamine in brain stimulation, revealing that pornography causes excessive release of this chemical, leading to its buildup and the brain's inability to handle it properly. As a result, the brain either reduces the number of dopamine receptors or alters their sensitivity, decreasing the pleasure response to normal activities. Researchers have used brain imaging to precisely track these changes, showing that people exposed to high levels of dopamine stimulation display unique brain activity patterns, similar to other forms of addiction. This part of the book provides scientifically grounded explanations to help readers understand the powerful effects of pornography on the nervous system. 7.3. Studies on psychological and social disorders. In addition to neurological studies, the book offers a broad overview of research on psychological and social disorders related to porn addiction. These studies cover issues such as social withdrawal. Research shows that porn addiction contributes to reduced social interaction and withdrawal from community activities. Emotional disorders. Studies report higher rates of depression and anxiety among individuals addicted to pornography, confirming a strong link between excessive exposure and poor mental health. Impact on marital relationships. Research indicates that people heavily exposed to pornography often struggle to maintain stable marriages, developing unrealistic expectations that distort intimacy. This part of the book acts as a bridge between scientific, medical, and behavioral perspectives, emphasizing that treating addiction requires a holistic approach that combines psychological, neurological, and social therapy. Part 8. Practical applications and guidelines for prevention. 8.1. The importance of awareness and education. The book encourages readers to increase their awareness about the dangers of pornography and its effects on the brain, noting that the first step toward prevention is self-education. The author highlights the importance of learning to recognize warning signs of developing addiction, such as the urge to consume pornographic content or feelings of guilt and shame after viewing it. The book also emphasizes that education and awareness in schools and communities are among the most effective tools in combating this phenomenon. This can be done by integrating mental health topics and digital awareness into school curricula and public seminars. 8.2. Practical applications to reduce addiction. To help combat pornography addiction, the book offers a set of practical steps individuals can follow. Setting strict internet usage rules, such as limiting screen time and avoiding misleading content. Developing alternative hobbies and activities. Engaging in activities that occupy time and enhance social interaction, such as sports or volunteering. Utilizing parental control apps. Technological tools that help reduce access to pornographic sites. Creating a supportive family environment. Focusing on open dialogue and awareness instead of avoidance or negative criticism. 8.3. Recommended therapeutic plans. The book also presents several therapeutic strategies that professionals can follow when working with individuals suffering from addiction, including cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, helps individuals change negative thoughts and behaviors associated with excessive pornography use. Group therapy provides participants with the opportunity to talk to others going through similar experiences, creating a supportive environment that boosts self-confidence. Medication. In severe cases, professionals may use medication to reduce cravings and regulate mood. The book concludes that integrating prevention strategies with therapeutic interventions forms a comprehensive approach to this growing problem, emphasizing that investing in mental and emotional health is fundamental to building a more cohesive and happy society. 9. Philosophical and social reflections on pornography and freedom. 9.1. A discussion on freedom and responsibility. The book explores a fundamental philosophical question. To what extent should individuals have the freedom to access whatever they want at the expense of their mental and emotional health? The author argues that in the digital age, discussions about freedom must be paired with personal and social responsibility. While access to information is a basic human right, it should be accompanied by awareness of potential risks and preventive measures. 9.2. The impact of modern technology on human behavior. The book also offers a deep analysis of how technology is changing human behavior patterns. The rapid development of digital tools and the internet has made it easy to access massive and diverse content, increasing the risk of addiction. In this context, the book calls for the development of regulatory and educational methods to protect individuals from the negative effects of technology, stressing that technological advancement should go hand in hand with ethical use practices that safeguard mental health. The importance of balance between reality and virtuality. The book concludes by advocating for a balance between the use of modern technology and maintaining a real and humane life. The author argues that strong connections between individuals, their communities, and families are the force that restrains the chaos caused by excessive use of technology. In this regard, achieving awareness and self-control is the cornerstone of facing the challenges of the digital age. Part 10. Summary and Lessons Learned. 10.1. Scientific and Practical Summary. Several key points can be drawn from the book. Neurological impact of pornography. How exposure to pornographic scenes triggers dopamine release and reshapes neural connections. Psychological and social effects. From anxiety and depression disorders to negative impacts on personal and family relationships. Recovery strategies. The importance of self-awareness, adopting innovative therapeutic methods, lifestyle changes, and leveraging brain neuroplasticity for healing. Role of technology in society. How technological development should be accompanied by cultural and ethical models that protect individual and societal mental health. 10.2 Ethical message and lessons. The book is not just a scientific study of the effects of pornography on the brain. It carries a deep moral message that encourages the reader to take personal responsibility. Every individual should be aware of the potential impact of their choices and work to protect themselves from falling into addiction. Strive for continuous learning and growth. Rehabilitating oneself and promoting mental health is not just a response to a crisis, but a long-term investment in a brighter future. Build genuine human relationships, emphasizing that true communication and warm human connections may be the best remedy for isolation and loneliness. 10.3 A call for reflection and reevaluation. The book ends with a clear call for every reader to reassess their relationship with technology and the digital content they consume daily. While the digital era offers endless opportunities, unbalanced usage may lead to lasting changes in brain structure and human psychology. Thus, awareness and both personal and social guidance are among the most important tools for prevention and recovery. Part 11. Strategies to enhance self and community awareness. 11.1. Building a supportive environment. The book highlights the importance of creating educational and social environments that support individuals in facing the challenges of the digital age through enhancing awareness programs, whether in schools or community institutions. Encouraging open family dialogue about the risks of pornography addiction and the importance of mental health. Promoting healthy lifestyles that boost social interaction, physical activity, and cultural engagement. 11.2. The role of institutions and professionals. The author affirms that the role of health, psychological, and educational institutions just as crucial as individual efforts. They should work together to provide specialized counseling and therapy services for early detection of addiction issues and appropriate treatment. Workshops and training sessions to develop life, educational, and technological skills. Comprehensive awareness programs targeting different age groups to build a conscious generation capable of tackling digital addiction. 11.3. Practical steps to boost community awareness. Some of the practical initiatives proposed in the book include hosting public lectures and seminars focused on raising awareness of the dangers of pornography addiction, establishing psychological and social support centers, offering free or subsidized services for affected individuals. By supporting educational materials that aim to reshape societal perceptions of pornography and present positive role models. By supporting educational materials that aim to reshape societal perceptions of pornography and present positive role models. Part 12. A future vision for dealing with the effects of pornography. 12.1 Scientific and Technological Developments. Toward the end of the book, the author envisions the future of scientific research into the effects of pornography on the brain. With technological advancement and increased understanding of neural processes, more advanced and precise treatment methods will emerge, including modern neuroimaging techniques that will directly monitor changes in the brain and provide more accurate data. Innovations in psychological and neurological therapy, using digital applications and technologies to restructure thought and behavior patterns. Interdisciplinary collaboration between medicine, psychology, and technology to offer comprehensive and sustainable solutions to digital addiction. 12.2 The importance of ongoing research and community engagement. The book notes that tackling the challenges of the digital age requires joint efforts between researchers, specialists, and policymakers. Through community participation and ongoing research, it becomes possible to track addiction trends and implement effective solutions. Government and institutional investment in mental health programs, helping reduce the economic and social burdens of addiction-related issues. 12.3 An optimistic outlook for the future. The book closes with a hopeful tone, asserting that change is possible if the will and awareness are present. It emphasizes that every individual has the power to reshape their brain through awareness, mental training, and building a supportive community. The future depends on balanced collaboration between humans and technology to maintain mental and emotional well-being. Ongoing education and scientific research are the most powerful tools to confront digital addiction challenges and turn them into opportunities for personal and social growth. Conclusion. The book Your Brain on Porn offers a comprehensive study of the multiple impacts of pornography on the neurological, psychological, and social aspects of the individual. It becomes clear that the changes occurring in the brain as a result of exposure to this content are not random, but stem from complex interactions between neurochemistry and learned behaviors. This necessitates advanced, scientifically grounded treatment approaches. Key takeaways include neurological effects, such as excessive dopamine release and neural rewiring, leading to a difficult-to-break addiction state. Psychological and social consequences, including anxiety, depression, lowered self-esteem, and deteriorating relationships. Recovery strategies, focusing on self-awareness, adopting holistic, healthy lifestyles, and accessing psychological and social support. Call for education and awareness as foundational steps in preventing the dangers of pornography addiction, especially in the age of advanced technology. Through Sammy's story and his personal journey, we see that overcoming addiction begins with acknowledging the problem and identifying its root causes, followed by embarking on a recovery path that may require time and effort, but will eventually restore brain and mental health and rebuild strong human and familial bonds. Ultimately, the book serves as both a warning and a wake-up call, affirming that the road to recovery starts with awareness and a commitment to mental and physical health, investing in personal growth and reprogramming the brain to respond to natural and human stimuli. is the greatest challenge, but also the most rewarding path toward a more balanced and fulfilling life.